Season 3 of On the Peg here, and this is not the first episode. No, this is another special. Last week we did the Aquaman movie special, and I asked you, my fans, my loyal few, what do you want to see next? And Shane, you won. I picked your answer. Then again, not too many people even messaged me about what they want to see. I had some private messages, and most of them said, whatever you want to do. But Shane, my brother from another set of parents, you said you want to see the Batman movie figures. But you didn't tell me which Batman movie figures, because I did say I had a few. I mean, I have the Batman Begins Batman. I also have, oh look, it's the Dark Knight series. But I get the strange feeling you really wanted me to do the Batman Forever series. So we're going to do that today. So it's a Batman Forever special. Aww. And we'll be back in a minute. I'm going to sit down and switch from the wonderful handheld to my lazy, I'm going to sit in a chair and do the review from a chair position. Back in a second. I'm sitting down again, and well, here you have them. The Batman Forever action figures in their packaging. Now, because I'm not working, let me take these out of the way for a second. Because I'm not working, I have been, don't ask me why, but out of boredom, I decided to watch every Batman movie in chronological order, including going back to the old black and white serials. I watched those, and I watched Batman, the Tim Burton Batmans, then I watched Batman Forever, so we're doing that one today. Then I watched, of course, the Dark Knight trilogy, and I finished it off by watching Batman Begins. Now, I'm not going to say which Batman's my favorite, because we all know Batman, no one beats Batman. But I will say something. One thing I do not want to see from McFarlane Toys is the Batman serial Batman with the floppy bat ears. Yeah. And if you're asking, did I watch the Adam West Batman? Well, I watched the Adam West Batman, the movie. I'm not a fan of the Adam West Batman TV show. I never was as a kid. I just thought it was too embarrassing to the character of Batman to be portrayed in such a silly method. It's kind of like if your drunk uncle, politically correct, if your drunk family member showed up at a party and you were embarrassed, I'll screw political correctness. Yeah, it's your Adam West Batman's a drunk Batman you don't want to show up at your party. It's just, he had a great voice, but it was just so stupid. I can't talk about it. But we're going to talk about the Batman Forever, or as forever known as the nippled Batman. So to start off with, let's get it out of the way. Let's take nipple Batman out of the package, and my phone's ringing, so I'm just going to ignore it because you're more important than a spam call. So we're going to take him out of the package and be back. Okay, so here's George Clooney's face, the Batman, and yep, he's got nipples. So I got him out of the package. Of course, as you can see, I'm not going to spend too much time showing you him because we got 3 more figures to go, 4 if you count Mr. Freeze. But there he is out of the package. Let's get back to talking about him. So we got the George Clooney Batman out of the package. And, well, what do I think? Well, I can honestly say it was never my favorite Batman movie, nor was it my favorite Batman costume ever. You know, the bat ears kind of curve inward. The cape, I mean, there's been quite a few people who have reviewed this wave. People have talked about how they like the packaging, and you know, it's been very reviewed already. I was not exactly planning on doing a Batman special with these figures, but Shane, because you asked for it, we're doing it. And the reason why I didn't want to do it, because I've seen so many people review these already. You know, the YouTubers who have thousands of subscribers, who get sponsored either from a company or actually get the toys from McFarlane Toys themselves. Well, I don't get free toys. I buy them. Which I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent right now, because in the news lately, there's a lot of people, especially on YouTube, that are bashing McFarlane Toys for the Crisis on Infinite Earth wave. You know, the classic Golden Age Superman, the Psycho Pirate, Kid Flash, and Spectre that build the Monitor. They're complaining about paying $40 for an action figure. Really? Have you not realized that other places in the world, that's a normal price? The average price for an action figure in Canada, for example, is roughly $36 Canadian, which is roughly $40 US, if you really think about it. So we're already paying these higher prices, but we still buy them. Collectors like me who don't have sponsors, who don't get free toys, guess what? We're already paying those kind of higher prices for McFarlane toys. It's called shipping. Now, in this case, I'm actually like, you know what? I would pay that kind of money for those figures because they're McFarlane store only. But as you know, I'm not working. I'm job hunting right now. But yeah, to me, those would be worth it. And if you bought them and you got them for free, you don't want them, send them to me. If you message me, I'll give you my address. You can send me toys for free. I'm not going to complain. You know, hopefully I will be able to track them down eventually because I really think they look good. I don't think the price point's not that bad because, frankly, if you bought Platinum Series toys, once you limit a toy run, they become more expensive. It's not like, you know, the Marvel Legends that you see in videos at the company in the States called Ollie's. I wish there was one here, but there's not. This place literally has Marvel Legends for $10. Why? Because they're overproduced. This series, according to what I read, the Crisis on Earth series, that's a McFarlane store exclusive, is only in limited numbers. It's kind of like that Wonder Woman from the Flashpoint. I still want to get one of those eventually. Trying to track one down. That's going to be part of my toy hunt once I'm working again. But to me, you know what? You guys are making money from your videos. You're sponsored. You sell ad space. You might even be getting the toys for free. So stop complaining about paying $40 for a toy. I saw one toy review guy. This guy has spent $100 on an action figure so he could take off its top. Yeah, it's one of those gladiator statues. They're really cool, but they're really expensive. He paid $100 for that thing. Yeah, it has accessories, and he's complaining about McFarlane price gouging for a toy that's only $40 when he's already spent toys that I've looked up cost over $100. Really? But let's get back on topic. Batman. All right. I'm not going to go into details. I can see why some other people commented about the cape. It does have a weird texture to it. You know, as an action figure, it is posable. I'm not going to say it's not. As a face sculpt, doesn't really make me think George Clooney. Like I said, it's definitely not my favorite Batman ever. Not the movie. I didn't like the movie that much either. I mean, the movie did have some funny points. I mean, it had villains on hockey skates with hockey sticks, which I thought was hilarious. Nice little nod to the Canadian content there. But overall, there's Batman. There he is. And the stand actually works. Once again, I think it's because if you take a look at the cape, it's just long enough to act as a tripod. So I can't even complain about the cape. Do I have any of the Batman, Tim Burton Batmans? No. I never bought them. At the time, I never thought I would ever buy movie action figures. Lately, I've bought a few just because of the fact that, you know, there might be one character in this that I want, or I want to build a figure. So, and that's where the build-a-figure part comes with the legs, but we'll talk about these when I do the Mr. Freeze. Of course, it has the card, George Clooney, Batman. But let's go with, well, Batman. Let's go in order. You would have Robin, the Boy Wonder. Let's look at his nipples now. Yes, he has nipples too. All right, here we have Robin. Of course, yeah, he has nipples too. Basically the same kind of look to the costume. I know some people have complained about the difference in the arm color and the chest color, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's get back to me being lazy sitting in the chair. Once again, oddly enough, I can't complain about that. It actually does hold them up. I do see a recurring problem with some of these movie figures. The ankle joints are a bit of a problem sometimes. What do I think of the sculpt? Well, the face sculpt, not my favorite. I don't like the hair. It seems like his head's slightly bigger than it should be. Maybe it's the real actor's head's that big. I don't know. I've never met him. I know some other people who've reviewed these already complained about the difference in color between this and that. Really? It's a toy. It's not a big deal. I mean, you know, I've seen different color variations elsewhere that are worse, but that's Robin. Even though it's more of a Nightwing chest design and so forth, my biggest dislike with this figure isn't the nipples, because that's part of the movie and that's part of the joke, is the hair. I don't like the way the hair is done on this guy. He comes with the arms, which we'll talk about, and he has of course, the close-up card as well. But if we're going to go that way, Well, keeping with the Batman family, and this shows I don't care about packaging as much, because the ones I got weren't perfect. The Batgirl had a slight little damaged package, and my buddies at GameStop were saying, well, if you don't want, we can order you another one. And I'm like, why? I'm going to take it out anyway. It's not going to bother me. I know some people need to have the package in pristine condition. That's not the point of having a toy. You take a toy out of the package, and you put it on a shelf. Let's be honest. That's what most of us toy collectors do. We take out the package, we go, oh, cool. We put it on a shelf, and that's it. Yeah, we're grown men and women and non-gendered, binary, whatever you want to call yourself. If you collect toys, you're a cool person. You collect toys. And I don't care if you're male, female. I don't care if you identify as a cat. If you like toys and you like the channel, we'll get along. And on that note, let's take her out of the package. To be politically correct, I won't mention what her costume has, but we'll see in a minute, shall we? All right, so here we have Batgirl out of the package. And as you can see, basically it's a similar costume to the others. The base actually works. Well, let's get back to me sitting down because this is more comfortable. And we'll get to talking about the first thing I noticed about Batgirl was her head seems too big for the body. That's something I've seen in quite a few movie adaptation toys, not just from McFarlane, but from other companies as well. They seem to want to get the actor or actress's face and well scanned and so forth, so they sculpt it bigger. And then with this case, her head does seem bigger. Her head is like this on the body, and I've tried pushing it back. It really doesn't go back, so you know, kind of like big girl, I'm big girl. Makes you think. The stand kind of works. Ankle problem again. It's interesting that I just noticed one thing. I mean, the cards come with, oh, look, Batman's looking one way. Everybody else is looking the opposite way. Little Freudian there on McFarlane's part. I don't know. Of course, she comes with the head and shoulders and the water pistol. But one thing I had a problem with Batgirl wasn't the character itself, was these stupid plastic things. Are you like me? Are you sick and tired of these things that aren't environmentally friendly? They're not good. You have small animals. You have to make sure you don't drop it on the floor. And the reason why I brought this up, because the head, good old Mr. Freeze, Ani's head was held in place with Scotch tape. And they quite often, not just McFarlane toys, a lot of toy companies use way too many of these. And I'm like, why? Why? Quite often the bubble packaging holds the thing in place. Worst case, put Scotch tape. Scotch tape's not a big deal as these. These are a pain in the butt. And I know they put them on to prevent theft, but then again, it's already in a package. I hate them. I hate them. They drive me crazy. Well, we only have one more to open up and then one to build. And of course, the reason why I bought this series, let's be honest, because when you're this guy's fan, you gotta have the villain. So I had to get Poison Ivy. And of course, Poison Ivy, well, it's got Build-A-Figure parts, and I made the mistake with Batrocious. I only bought 2 out of the 4, and I've been regretting it ever since. I don't have the Joker who laughs with wings, or the Robin with the other parts of the Batrocious, and I've been regretting that ever since, because I can't find them individually. I've seen people wanting to sell all 4 as a whole, or all 6. But, like I said, not working right now. I'm on a very tight budget, paying rent and keeping everything else to minimum. Most lights I've had on, which actually is pretty good for heat. When you turn your heat off, turning these lights on, woo, you get hot. Speaking of hot, let's take a look at Poison Ivy, shall we? Oh, here we have Pamela Ivy, also known as Poison Ivy. Now, I must admit, the face sculpt is actually pretty good. The head does seem a bit big for the body. At the same time, I also built good old Mr. Freeze. So I'll give you a quick close-up of Mr. Freeze. Good old Ani Schwarzenegger. There's Ani. Ani looks not happy, no. Of course, there's Ani's body. But let's sit down and take a good talk about them, shall we? Yeah, I know, that was a weird expression. Let's take a good talk about them. It's meant let's really have a good discussion about them. So, Pamela Ivy, Poison Ivy. The reason why I bought this set, I wanted one for my collection. It's a villain that we need. McFarlane doesn't make too many female action figures, so I don't mind having her in the collection. The head, once again, with movie sculpts, seems a bit bigger than it should be, which is kind of frustrating. Overall, I like the figure. It's, you know, it actually does work. In some ways, the high heels help. The fact that the peg hole is so small that it's so tight, when you put the foot into it, it does hold it up. You know, not bad. I know why some people have made, you know, customs where they took that head off, took the head from the Poison Ivy DC Direct, which is a different body sculpt, and put it on. I'm going to leave it as is. I don't like taking apart toys. You know, it's not my thing. Maybe one day it will be, but not a bad Poison Ivy. Now, let's get to the... I think my biggest disappointment with this bunch. Mr. Freeze. Now, a couple things. I mean, the face sculpt, yeah, it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, a couple things I don't like. The color scheme makes it feel very cartoony. It's like I'm watching an animated Mr. Freeze. The color scheme, it doesn't have that metallic. There's different tonality, which other people notice as well, between the feet all the way up. I don't like the rubber diaper. It, if you look at it from the top, it's kind of like you can see into the joint, which means it's not the best fit. It's just, you know, I'm happy I have a Mr. Freeze that's, you know, different than the, you know, a few other ones I've seen from DC Direct. But I think a more classic Mr. Freeze, which is coming. I've seen McFarlane on McFarlane's page. They have the first appearance of Mr. Freeze that's going to glow in the dark. Color scheme is outrageous. That one I want to get down the road because it looks fun. And it's a more appropriate Mr. Freeze. Now, Arnie comes with, of course, his water shooting gun. And you think about it. It's not an ice rifle. It's a water gun that has cooling in it. So it's a water pistol. Let's be honest. If you really think about it, it doesn't shoot pre-made ice. It shoots water, which it then freezes. It's a water gun. There's a whole bunch of other accessories. I'm not sure what they're supposed to look like to go on people that freeze them. I'm not going to bother putting them in the packages again. I'm not going to point. There's no point to it. But, you know, there they are. Here we go. The Batman Forever action figures. I hope you're happy, Shane. I spent all this time opening them up, taking a look at them, to put them all together. Look at this. The heads are big. Now, I think the reason why the face sculpts on some of these action figures are big is because with the Batman, all they're really doing is doing a sculpt of this and they can just use a head over again. Everyone else, well, we gotta make the actors happy. Giant heads. It's like if my head was like this big on my body. And I know you're thinking, dude, you already have a big head, man. It's massive. It's ugly. It's massive. It's big. But it's not as big as proportionally as these. Now, I could be really cruel right now and make this a giant Batman special and do the Dark Knight ones, all 4 of those, and the Build-A-Figure. But no, we're going to save those for a special down the road because I don't want people to think that Season 3 is only going to be Batman action figures. We have a whole bunch more to go through. I mean, okay, we got Jim Gordon Batman, we got Wonder Woman with the Helmet of Fate, Brainiac, Vampire, Midnighter. We have a whole bunch to go through still. We still have stuff on the House of Madness, and we have the other toys we want to do. So, for Season 3, Episode 1, the actual real episode that's going to follow our new format, what do you want to see? And don't say Batman. I want to take a break from doing Batman. So Batman's off the table for Season 1 episode. But do you want to see, say, 2, 3 of these guys? Do you want to see one of these guys and maybe something else? Do you want to see some retro toys? Or maybe a mash of all of that. Maybe one McFarlane DC Multiverse. Maybe a new toy that maybe from one of our guest hosts can be. I know Leroy Jr. wants to be back on the show earlier than later. So maybe you want him. Maybe, I know Shane, you wanted Peter. Peter will be back. If you really want him for next episode, let me know in the comments. I wasn't going to bring Peter back for this one because it's all Batman and it's all for you Batman Forever fans. Yeah. But let me know what you want. Next week, if no one tells me when they want to see the show, it's probably going to be on Saturday again or maybe a Friday night. Because, as you know, I am job hunting now. And if you want to know why I'm not working, well, I kind of answered that in a TikTok. It wasn't by choice. I won't go into details as to why. But I am looking for work because when you have bills to pay, like rent and other things, and you want to buy more toys for your channel, you need to have a job. So I am job hunting. Which brings up another point. I was watching this one YouTuber today who does toys. And I know this guy gets toys for free. He actually said so. He admitted to it. He goes, people send him toys. And he goes, if you send me a toy, I'll review it. And I'm like, all right, why not? If you have a toy you want me to review that you don't think I bought, or I don't think I have, and you don't mind never getting it back, send it to me. If you really want to, I'll give you my address. You can send me the toy. I'll review it. Because, yeah, there are some toys that I don't normally buy. Like, I'm not a G.I. Joe guy, but if you want me to review G.I. Joes, maybe I will. And someone asked me, why don't I like G.I. Joe? Well, my ex-wife can tell you this. When I was in university, I was studying film. And I wanted to do the mega G.I. Joe commercial. Yes. I was buying every G.I. Joe vehicle I could get my hands on, including the Cobra Dome and the Space Shuttle. I had them all at my mother's place, because that's the place where I was going to build this big giant set, to make a giant G.I. Joe action figure toy commercial. I took a vacation to Vancouver. When I came back, my mother, in her wonderful wisdom, decided to take all of those G.I. Joe toys that I spent a shitload of money on, gave them to her church. She ruined my whole concept of doing this giant toy commercial with stop motion to make it everything good, and gave basically thousands of dollars of toys away without even asking me. She just goes, well, you're too big for toys, and she gave them away. So I have a thing ever since then about G.I. Joe. It's kind of like, it's painful for me to think about reviewing G.I. Joe toys, because I had a shitload of G.I. Joe toys. I had, I think, every vehicle that came out in the first, 3 years of G.I. Joe. Like the small ones. I had a ton of actual G.I. Joes. Some rare ones, too. She gave them away to a church. So somewhere out there in South Shore, Montreal, there's some kids, now adults, who have, if they still have them, have G.I. Joe toys they got from a church. Well, they're from my collection. Be thankful. But no, it's like I said, if you do have toys that I don't review, that I don't normally collect, hey, you know what? I'm not going to say no to free toys. If you really want, I'll give you my address in a personal message. Message me on Facebook. I'll say, here's my address. Send them to me. I'll review them. And if you really want them back, maybe I'll send them back to you. No, if you really want them back, I will make sure you get them back eventually. But yeah, that's it for now. Season 1 was a fun season to do. Season 2 was a bit more fun. Season 1 was about 50 some odd episodes. Season 2, we went nuts. We had 100 episodes. Season 3, we're not going to be that crazy. One a week and a couple of specials like this. The Batman special, for shame. We're doing this for you. We're going to basically maybe do 50 some odd episodes this year with a couple of specials, basically one a week. Just makes my life easier, especially now that I'm job hunting. And once I work again, of course, I'll be working really hard to make money again, to pay bills like rent and heat and other things. But I still plan on buying toys. Right now, nothing I pre-ordered has come in, because a lot of stuff I pre-ordered apparently has gotten canceled or is delayed till March. Yeah. But I do have stuff. I mean, I have enough stuff for the guest host to talk about. I will be sticking mostly to the DC Multiverse toys that are about to follow me. But the guest will be doing the other toys. I will be doing some retro toys as well. Stuff that's not in package, but just from my collection. And I'm not sure. Do you want to see? Say, for example, I'll take my Street Fighter toys. Let me grab one right now. Now. Now, would you... Oh, look. He would fit into the DC universe. Now, would you like me to talk about him in a review, just one figure? Or do you want to just say, okay, here's the entire collection. We'll do a Street Fighter collection and put all the Street Fighter toys I have in one big, giant, long video where I talk about all of them, or just maybe per episode, I'll take out one or two and go, hey, by the way, this is from my collection. What do you think of it? Or I can do the same thing with my Marvel Legends. Let's grab one of those. A few moments later, for example, would you like me to talk about Onslaught in the video? You know, one of the ones I took out of the package, I built him. When my buddy Nick, the 8th Dimension, you thought I wasn't going to plug Nick's store. When he opened up his store, I basically said, here's all my packaged Marvel Legends, not the small ones, and to help him out. And they gave me free comics for a year, basically. But I kept all my open ones. So do you want me to do a whole bunch of these, or just maybe go, hey, here's one of my Marvel Legends going back a couple years. Here's a Street Fighter. Here's something else, like a Hellboy toy. Or how about a vintage G.I. Joe? Or something else. Let me know in the comments. Once more, hit that like and subscribe button. And thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for putting up with my antics. Thank you for putting up with me bitching about not having heat or looking for a job. You know, sometimes it would be nice if I was sponsored and I had like 1 million subscribers. I'd be able to do this for a living, which would be fun. Because frankly, doing this is, you know, is a highlight. It's fun to do. It's like reaching out to like family who's far away and saying, hey, we like the same stuff. We would get along in real life. In person, we would get along. And that's kind of fun. So, yeah, it would be nice to have this sponsored. Hey, McFarlane, why not sponsor a little guy in Canada, one of your fellow Canadians? Sponsor me. Hey, if it's just sending me free toys, I won't complain. I'll sponsor you. I mean, I know people thought in the past I've been sponsored because I mentioned stores like Sub City Comics. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just, I've heard good things about them. I've kind of dealt with them in the past a little bit. I like Sub City Comics. The same with Tasmanian Comics in Vancouver. Well, actually, they're in Vancouver. They're right on the border. You know, I like them. It's like the guys at Rideau Center, the GameStop at Rideau Center. I like them. They treat me well. That's why I mentioned them. If you have a store that treats you good, let me know. They don't have to sponsor me. They don't have to send me any free stuff. But if you say this store is really good, you tell me the store's name, tell me what city, and I will mention them. A good example would be the Big Bang Comics that I was told about by Shane. Apparently he loves that store whenever he goes down to Dublin. So hey, Dublin, shout out to you. That's pretty much it. Ha-ha. Oh, one last little note. I wanted to say a special thank you to the group Madness, because I'm sure you noticed on my opening credits I have One Step Beyond playing, and I want to thank the group Madness because they made it so that you can use that song, at least portions of it, without any copyright strikes. And I just figured, you know, Madness Inc., Mad Montreal Man, why not have music until I get some original music made that sort of represents that? And I just love that beat, you know. So thank you to them. And yes, every time I use that intro, I will give them a music credit, because music by Madness, and it's One Step Beyond. If you've never heard of the group Madness, check them out. It's fun. I remember listening to them when I was younger. And I know you're thinking, you were never younger. You've always been old. You've always been ugly. But I've always been a toy collector. I'm pretty honest. I always have. And on that note, you fellow toy collectors, hit that like and subscribe. Share this video. Get more people to watch. I mean, hey, you never know. Maybe in a month's time, if I'm not working, this might be my only source of life. It'll never be my source of income, because let's be honest, the way it works, you have to was it 1,000 likes, or well, not 1,000 subscribers before you can monetize your channel, or is it 4,000 now? I can't remember. And I'm never going to get that. I have a handful of you people who just want a different toy review. Once again, thank you. Because, you know, hey, if you're watching this, you also don't want to watch a guy look at a box or play with the toy or make some very weird comments about how you can take off a toy's clothing. Yeah, there's a guy out there doing that. But on that note, with my wonderful wall still staying up and all these toys behind me, I'm going to basically... Onslaught just died. He just... whatever. And on that note, that's a hint to wrap this video up. So I'm going to say thank you once more. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Have a good week. We'll see you next week, unless something horrible happens, like the end of the world. Pinky and the brain. No, okay, we'll see you then. And until then, stay healthy, keep buying toys, and like I said, if you want something special, find me on Facebook. It's easy to find. Mad Montreal Man on Facebook. It's me. I'm the only one. That's kind of weird, though, because, you know, you look up my name, there's about 4 or 5 of us, but I'm only the Mad Montreal Man. I send on YouTube. You type Mad Montreal Man, it's me. That's it. In some ways, I'm very unique. See you next time. And by the way, Shane, don't ask me for Batman next week. Just saying. All right. Well, first thing I noticed about the Batgirl is her head seems big. Then again, that's just something let's cut that.